Where are you from, Tim?
I'm from Vancouver actually, but I live in San Francisco right now.
Yeah, that's right. How's it? How are things over there?
Things are all right. Things are, with the pandemic and things going on, SF feels like it's, getting back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty high
Well, that's good,
vaccination rate. I hear. I got mine actually like about a week ago. So yeah,
Oh, nice. Good. Yeah, we're all pretty well vaccinated up here too, so that's good news.
yeah.
You got some nice weather?
Yeah, it's nice today, but it's been awfully windy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I live right on top of a hill, so at night I can
Mhm.
hear, like I don't know if you've ever been in like a windy place where the wind kind of rushes over like a hill and it kind of like wails.
Totally. Yeah. It's kind of like a drones in the night, kind of creepy.
Yeah, so I
Mhm.
got used to that.
Right on. Right on. Well, yep. I'm a Midwesterner through and through. Haven't been to the West Coast yet, so I do want to get
Uh,
down there to check that out.
yeah, well, if you ever come by SF, just to make sure that a lot of people think it's California, but it's cold in the summer. So if you come in during the summer, bring a sweater.
I did actually hear that. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that in mind. I wouldn't want to be caught off guard like that because that would
Yeah,
be my normal mindset of like, oh, dress, for warm weather all the time over
yeah.
there in Cali. But
So
yeah,
it's
that's some
it's
good
pretty funny
advice.
when you see the tourists come and then they're all just like freezing.
Shivering, shorts and flip flops and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. They show up, just like in t-shirts and flip-flops, and so
Totally.
there's just always this long line outside like the Uniqlo or clothing store in the core of downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, but
My
the best
God.
time to come to SF is actually in September, October. They have what I guess what's called like the Indian summer, so it gets a little warmer
Oh, okay.
then. Yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
sounds pretty nice. Cool. All right, I'll aim for then. That sounds good. Dude, let's talk about Voxel art for a little bit. How did you find MagicaVoxel?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't quite remember, to be honest. I've been doing it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm almost at the 5 or maybe even 6 year mark.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I think probably, I was just on Twitter. I must have seen something,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess I must have saw some art and I probably, just ended up downloading it because, it's free and then started using it and, away I went.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, I was looking at your Instagram. You've got a ton of posts. So it's clear you've been doing this for a while.
Just a little
Like,
while. Yeah.
did you start out with any other mediums? Like, were you like a sketch artist or pixel art or anything like that?
Yeah, so I've always been kind of like doing kind of like art stuff on the computer for almost all my life.
Mm-hmm.
The big kind of thing that happened to me when I was a kid was that someone showed me Flash at like a birthday party.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, and so, I was like 15, and then the next day instantly I went and like, burned a copy for myself and
Mm-hmm.
started playing with it. So I was a total Flash kid.
Ah,
I was
awesome.
making like animations, and I eventually also that's how I started getting into coding as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That's really cool. Did you like contribute to any of those the sites like I don't know, Newgrounds or anything?
Yeah, I remember I was really into stick death animations back then.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
And I had a couple of videos of Newgrounds, and they never really went anywhere because, it's just like, some 15-year-old kids just like, random animation of stick death.
Mm-hmm.
But I did remember showing it to my high school friends, and they just, they laughed. They loved it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I used to love those actually. What was it? There's a Flash game. I think it was called Shao Shao.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and they made like four, like, I don't know, videos. They're all kind of like these Matrix X kind of like
Yeah.
Neo kind of stuff. And then one of them became like the game.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, man, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, I remember it fondly though. That was a really fun game to play. Good times.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Cool. So, did you have like I don't know, game dev aspirations or anything? Go to school for design, stuff like that?
Yeah, so following that, I knew I wanted to get into computers. Computers is always kind of a thing for me.
Yeah.
And so I went to, a school in Vancouver called Simon Fraser University for computing science. So
Oh,
I got
right
my
on.
degree there. But I don't think I really realized what that degree would entail and computing science there because it's like entirely math. Like I love
Oh
math, but
God, yeah.
it was like too
Mm-hmm.
much math. And
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I didn't learn so much of game devy kind of topics there. It was a lot
Hmm.
of theory and stuff like that. But there were a couple of classes. I remember I took this one media class and I got really into it, and it kind of was like computers and media, and it had a couple topics for like image processing and audio kind of like stuff, and I was really
Oh
into
yeah,
that kind of stuff too.
that's handy.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So, did you graduate a while back then? You've been out of school for a while?
Yeah, I've been out of school for a while. I took a really long undergrad, to be fair. I took 7 years, but I was like about I think year 3 or 4, I was working full time at a startup somewhere. So like the remaining years
Okay,
of
right on.
school, I was like doing only a couple classes a semester.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's probably
yeah,
good for like the end of it once you know what you're doing and everything. Did you
yeah,
like already have like a job lined up, or you knew what you were gonna do afterwards?
yeah, yeah. So that startup I was working at ended up being like my full time job, and it's actually
Okay.
still a continuation of that right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that startup got bought out actually, and that was almost 10 years ago. And the company that bought us out offered me, they were based in San Francisco. It's Adobe essentially.
Oh yeah, I got you. Cool.
Yeah, so they, gave me the offer to move down to San Francisco and work, down here,
Cool.
and that's where I went. And being, such a huge Flash fan, I really, jumped on that opportunity.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's really lucky.
Yeah, but after being in Adobe and the corporate lifestyle, I've definitely seen how the sausage is made. So,
Yeah. Does it ruin the magic a little bit?
a little bit,
Yeah.
but I get free Creative Cloud, so that's nice.
That is always a plus. Yeah, that's right. Hang on to that for as long as you can.
Yeah, seriously.
So I guess does that play into any plans you've got going forward? Like, do you want to keep on developing projects or just keep a stable job or anything like that?
I don't know. I've been there for a while, and I kind of bounced around a couple of teams, and I'm on like a decent team right now, working on something interesting. But I feel like my time in San Francisco is starting to come to a close. It's not a city
Mm.
where I feel like many people kind of come and stay at. It's a very
Yeah.
transient city. You're only
Hmm.
here for a couple of years, and a lot of people I moved down here with all basically moved back to Vancouver. So, you know,
Oh, I see. Okay.
yeah, and my family's back there, and all my closest friends are all back there too. And so with this pandemic,
Yeah,
yeah,
really.
yeah, I'm just by myself really, so I'm just kind of stuck in my own apartment, and all of the friends have like gone back home somewhere, so I'm just like twiddling my fingers here, which is the reason why I've been posting a lot of voxel art.
Yeah, got to keep yourself busy. Well,
Exactly.
so yeah, the ultimate goal to go back home then, chill out, live for a
Yeah, I
while.
think so. Yeah, yeah. Go back home and maybe try something. There's something on the horizon that's maybe that might work out for me. A
Oh,
good friend of
cool.
mine from school, he he's got something interesting planned, so maybe we'll figure something out there.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. I guess what would be your ideal direction in life? Like if you could like choose your ideal path tomorrow, like
Oh,
work at the perfect company, make the you've got like your whole team assembled. What would you do?
let's see. Uh, Probably build a monument of myself or something.
Hell yeah.
Lord over my peons.
Absolutely. That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah,
The truth.
no, I think it'd probably definitely do something like a digital art kind of thing.
Hmm.
I don't know if it'd be a game or something. It might be more of like a digital art experience kind of thing. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I see that digital art kind of has like new avenues for curation these days. Like folks have like VR rooms where you can just like walk around and see art that people have made and submitted. It's like on the wall as if it were an actual gallery.
Yeah, yeah. So
Stuff like that.
I haven't been to one of those, but I keep seeing those kind of things, and yeah, that stuff looks really interesting. So
I feel like there's probably there are fields like we haven't gotten to yet. Like someone's gonna figure out a new way to like make it super easy or intuitive or attractive to go through images and images, like tons of people portfolio work, stuff like that.
yeah, totally.
So let's see. Um, What kind of games do you like to play? That kind of gives me an insight here because I'm going to work into your art style in a minute.
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, I'll say probably play too many games.
No, it's no such thing. Go right ahead. Tell me what they all are.
But I am a huge StarCraft fan.
Oh, nice. Very good.
Yeah, it's the main game I've been playing since literally when I was 10, and I've been playing it consistently since, and I'm like 35 now.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
As I understand it, most StarCraft fans are pretty hardcore from the jump.
Yeah, yeah, and also I don't know. There's something about it. I feel like the whole interface and the way that like all the game mechanics works, it just feels right to me.
Yeah, I understand how you mean.
Yeah, so I feel really comfortable in it, and I don't really play like, like the versus stuff anymore. I used to, but it's like that's the other thing about games in general for me these days. Like I try not to play the competitive games too much. Like, so like in StarCraft right now, I'm playing mostly just kind of co-op-y kind of things and just kind of for fun.
Chill out.
Yeah, because I can get real competitive, and that scene is, I don't know. It riles up the blood.
Yeah, I gotcha. I have definitely watched a lot of matches. Our guy Octree, he plays not necessarily like heavily competitively, but it does seem intense.
Yeah. So, getting a little older now, I gotta think about, like, do I really need to, like, put so many hours in to get so frustrated about something that, really doesn't really matter?
Spot on the leaderboard for a while. Yeah, I feel you. So StarCraft, is that like your main genre? Do you like top-down RTS or like strategy games, stuff like that?
Yeah. So that's pretty much my my favorite genre. Like Civ, I used to play a lot. I haven't played recently because I kind of got civved out, to be honest.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. That's a good way to put it. That should be a term, actually.
Yeah, I've reached the end goal in Civilization so many times that
Can't go to space again.
Yeah, and another game I've been playing a lot recently is Hades. That's a really good game.
Yeah, that's a really cool one, actually.
Yeah, I've been really impressed about like I do play a lot of those roguelike games, but Hades is like another level.
Speaking of games that are intense, yeah.
It's a little intense depending on how you want to go at it, I guess, like because
True.
If you, I guess the punishment pact, if you really dial that up and
hard
you don't
as
get the
hell,
boons
literally.
that you want.
So cool, and looking at your art, I see a lot of awesome nerdy stuff. Like I see things related to anime, cartoons, lots of Transformers stuff, which I love and adore.
Yeah.
Some Star Wars things, other sci-fi things in general. Like you've got like a cool approach to voxel art. It's like low res, but also very, I don't know, detailed, articulate, lots of features.
Thank you. I don't know. I guess I've been trying to play around with a lot of my scale of my voxels. Like, voxel, I guess you can always kind of like add more voxels, you know what I mean? And, sometimes I can get out of hand pretty quick. So there's always like this happy medium of how, I guess, low res, like of the, like how many cubes you want to use, but also like use a lot of sort of techniques to kind of boost up the detailedness of the model. So like a technique I like to do is like if I were to like draw a cube and I want to add a little more pizzazz to it, I'll like have like kind of like a like a medium color to the cube, and then I'll add like a couple of highlights, so like a little brighter color on the corners where the light might hit it, and then like some darker colors on like the opposite side. So it's kind of like like regular pixel art, but brought into a 3D space, so it kind of pops a little more.
Yeah, totally. It works really well. Your composition and everything for your renders is great.
Thank you.
And so you primarily use MagicaVoxel, though, right? Do you use any other voxel editors?
No other voxel editors, just all MagicaVoxel.
Right on. I do love it. It's so capable.
Yeah, it's so, actually, first of all, I want to give a huge shout out to F Tracy. I don't know who F Tracy is, or if it's even like a single person, like the entity
Right?
F Tracy, but I have never seen them ask for anything in return. And the fact that they were able to, release the software for free, and so many people have used it to, for their own whatever, just for fun or even for commercial stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
so, wherever you are, F Tracy, and if you're listening, if you want like a case of beer, or if you even have like an Amazon wish list,
Pump it
I'll
this
get
way.
you
You got
something.
it. Absolutely. That's actually one of the things that usually comes up in these interviews too. Like everybody's like, "Who is F Tracy? Like, how is this free? How does the MagicaVoxel have the renderer that it does, or the plugins that it can use? Like, it's ridiculous."
Yeah, seriously. So yeah, F Tracy, if you're listening,
Hero, come to us.
yeah, descend
My
down from the
God.
heavens and join us on Discord.
Please, please. That day may come. We've got some small interactions with him on Twitter every now and then, but not too much really.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe
Uh,
we'll build that shrine. Build it and they'll come.
yeah, that might be a good idea. Server project. I see. I'm getting an idea here. I know what to do. So I also see that you've done some animations with voxels too. Do you what's your process for that?
Yeah, so my process is like basically stop motion animation. I'll like arrange a scene in MagicaVoxel, and just take a picture, and then I'll move my model a little bit, and then take another picture, and I'll keep
Mm-hmm.
doing that until I have pretty much all the frames that I need, and then I'll import those into After Effects. And
Right on, right on.
yeah, in After Effects, I don't do too much unless the animation requires it. But the most like common thing I do in After Effects is just time stretching,
Yeah.
which is, I guess, for people who don't know, it's kind of like modifying my frames per second in a sense, or just kind of like making every frame of my animation, last for just a little bit longer. Because I like to keep it at 30 frames per second. Like, I don't like to mess with that, and I would rather like kind of mess with the length of my frames themselves.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Cool, cool. I started using After Effects for that, and then for some reason migrated to just Premiere Pro. For some reason, I guess I just had a layout that made it super quick, and I was able to make those animations faster.
Right.
It probably just has to do with arrangement, because I'm way too lazy to go into After Effects and mess with the layouts most of the time.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing. I never really used Premiere, and After Effects and Premiere are both, video editing softwares, so it's kind of weird. There's this weird divide of, After Effects users and just Premiere users. And
Yeah, it's true.
yeah, there's a bit of overlap, but I
'Cause
guess
one
After
is
Effects is more, I guess, effect oriented. So
yeah, it's more visual effecty. Yeah.
yeah.
What I noticed was I was actually getting like different render quality between the two. So I would try
Oh,
to render a GIF in After Effects and then a GIF in Premiere, and they would turn out differently for some reason.
oh,
And I
that's
was like, what?
interesting.
So that kind of swayed, I think, my decision to use one over the other sometimes.
Oh, that's interesting. Like the renderer within the program, like when you do like
Yeah.
a pre-render. Oh, okay.
And like in the media encoder thereafter too.
Oh, and they're different. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not positive that they're different, but for some reason I got different results.
Oh,
And I tried to match all the settings as closely as I could.
yeah, it is bizarre. Well, I don't know.
So yeah. Do you ever foray into Blender or any full poly rendering software or
Oh,
editors?
yeah, I've done a couple of forays.
Mhm.
But
Did you
it
make
never really
the tea kettle and the
sticks.
alarm clock that all the tutorials are on?
Yeah, I saw a really good tweet about Blender. Like people who always say that they want to learn Blender is kind of like going to the gym.
Oh yeah, actually.
It's a complicated piece of software, and to kind of get to where you need to be, I guess, it takes quite a while. Because in 3D, there's just so many dials, knobs, and switches to fiddle with.
Oh yeah, way too many.
Yeah, even in MagicaVoxel, like the rendering settings can be pretty confusing, but you know, it's once you it only takes a couple of hours, I feel like, in MagicaVoxel, whereas Blender, I mean, I feel like that could, I don't know, take.
Potentially takes years, yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
granted, the new version of Blender 2.8 is a lot better than it used to be.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
So,
So,
yeah, the interface is like way nicer. It's more intuitive. It's been a lot more helpful for me to figure it out. So,
hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I was considering going to Blender a while ago, but then, you know, F-Trace released you know, a couple of versions of MagicaVoxel last year, and I felt like,
mhm.
you know, with every new version that they release of MagicaVoxel, I'm like, F-Tracy, you've done it again. That just delays my move to Blender because now I can do it in MagicaVoxel. And now,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, I
now I
feel
feel
you.
pretty strong in MagicaVoxel that I'm not so certain if I need to go to Blender.
Yeah, that could totally be the case.
Yeah, but who knows?
I feel as we go along, we probably are all gonna figure out most of the different softwares, so
Hmm.
that we can get them to interact and everything. For example, with some events, we have to use different pieces of software to get all the models together. Like, for example, to get all the voxel models made in MagicaVoxel into Blender so that they can all be in the same scene,
Oh, right, yeah.
and other stuff like that. Some users make their models in VoxEdit or
Mm,
Cubicle, for example.
right, right,
So there's a little bit of compatibility issues here and there, but not too bad really.
right. That seems
I
always to
just
be. Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
I'm just saying that always seems to be the issue in like working in 3D is just the crazy amount of like ways you can, I guess, represent 3D, and that just, you know,
Hmm.
transfers that kind of idea to the file format. So the actual file format for 3D is just like between the programs, like there's just no cross compatibility. You really,
Yeah,
when,
really.
because you know you can just for any kind of program editor, you can just say like, oh, I'm just gonna format my files this way, and you know, be done with it.
Hmm. Yeah, pretty much. And I'm sure we're headed for another compatibility or I'm sorry, exporting feature in MagicaVoxel, because that tends to be one of the bigger things. What kind of features would you like to see in MagicaVoxel, dude?
The only one I really want right now is just the ability to add more layers.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You know, dealing with animations, like the process for it, it's essentially you know, I'm not using that old version of Magical Voxel where it had like the frame by frame kind of
Hmm.
thingy.
Yeah,
Uh,
92 point whatever.
yeah, so like my kind of workaround is essentially I use the Object Explorer, I think it's called, or Scene Outline.
Hmm.
And you know that lists all the various objects in your scene, and you can rename the objects. And so,
Hmm.
you know, what I'll do is like I'll rename all like the pieces of my animation, like arm, like right arm one, left arm one, you know, head
Yep.
one, and do that for like you know for the subject, and then times the amount of frames that I need. So it's not the fastest way of doing it.
Yeah, it gets to be a pretty dense workflow pretty fast, I bet.
Yeah, so that's why, you know, I use layers a lot in terms of trying
Mhm.
to organize that kind of stuff because, you know, you can just quickly turn layers on and off.
Right.
So, but you only get like 8 of them.
Hmm. It's definitely very, very few. It's nice that they can be modified to some extent, but yeah, I really hope we get some more layers in the future. What
Hmm.
I would tend to do for my animations was basically just hide everything underground in like the position where I need it, and then stack all of my objects so that I can just render it all in one run and not have to go back and redo anything. So that
Ah,
basically at the end it's like this scattering of objects, but in like the editor, but it comes out okay.
right.
But yeah, I would. It'd be awesome to have a timeline,
Yeah.
just like some basic stuff. Even if you wanted to do that as an add-on or something.
Yeah.
Hell, we've had people come up and they're like, uh, "If we have contact with F Tracy, can you please tell him that I'm willing to work on this project? Like, I'll make this tool, I will design it and like code it, and he can approve it if he wants. Just please, let me have this." like really die hard, and we're like, well, we don't actually have good contact with him, but maybe if he shows up someday, he'll see your suggestion. So here you go.
Yeah. Well, I think the project's on GitHub, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
I think I've seen the source code on GitHub. So.
Does he have it?
Let's just take a quick look.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can just like, I don't know, send a pull request and if they'll accept it or not. Who knows? I'm not seeing a lot of action on outside contributions. Who knows? Who knows the reasoning behind F. Tracy?
It is an enigma.
Exactly.
The mystery of F. Tracy is what keeps us all awake at night and voxeling during the day.
Exactly. Oh, they don't have MagicaVoxel on GitHub. It's like some other kind of like helper stuff, it looks like. Yeah.
Oh well. Hopefully he'll show up someday, or her, or they.
Yeah, exactly.
Whomever it turns out to be. I'm excited to meet them. And at the very least, just be like, thank you.
Yeah,
Because I
seriously.
probably never would have made it this far into digital art if it weren't for MagicaVoxel and how easy it was to figure out.
Yeah, exactly. I'd probably be toiling in like the Blender tutorial.
Yeah, still like very slowly going. I remember I'm still kind of going through that slog right now. I feel like I'm starting to get a little bit more skilled with it because like I can make a cool looking sword, which is a little bit nicer than the blob that I could make. That was an abstract art before, so maybe getting somewhere.
Yeah, swords are better than blobs.
What about the MVC? When did you join the our server?
Oh yeah, I think I joined October or so last year. There was that one room challenge, and yeah, I felt like I needed to get in on that because I remember the events from like the year previous, and I thought that was really cool. And also like I'm also like a really big lurker online. Like my personality is to almost never comment.
I gotcha.
And so I felt like maybe it's time to actually break out of the shell a little bit and, you know, talk to people.
Yeah. How's it going for you?
Yeah. It's going, I guess, pretty well. Met a lot of people on the Discord server and picked up a lot of tips. And yeah, it's a very positive community, so I'm enjoying my time.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Just trying to make it a friendly hub for voxel art.
Yeah, I feel like it totally is. Except for that bot incursion that happened like a day or two ago.
That was wild. That's the first time that's ever happened, actually.
Oh, weird.
For our particular server, yeah. I was in 4 or 5 other servers that got hit at the same time, too, so...
Oh, that's intense.
Lots of fun to deal with that particular thing.
Yeah. Bots. And it was all that Bitcoin stuff, too.
Yeah.
That's another topic that's kind of been buzzing around in my own head.
Crypto art,
and
yeah.
also on the server, too.
It's true.
Yeah, like, because, you know, I'm... as a programmer, like the whole Bitcoin thing is like, I don't know. I've read a lot of articles from like previous contributors, and a lot of them are kind of like out of the scene now. Like it's become like too big for them in the sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's just like, to me, like the whole thing is more about like the Wolf of Wall Street. You know, there's that scene where he says he's not leaving.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just like everyone in there is just so crazed about money, and they're just like insane. And so I feel like that's kind of like the big criticism for me about like the whole thing right now is just like the money aspect.
Yeah.
You know, like the whole like ecological things like that, that's annoying too. Hopefully it gets better over time, but I like to think about it as like, you know, it's like the scientists in the room. It's like, we did it. We finally figure out, you know, how to reduce the carbon footprint of like beef and meats by, you know, inventing Impossible Burger and like all these other kind of like meat substitutes. And then there's like this other scientist down the hall. It's like, hey, guess what? We just learned how to burn down the rainforest again with Bitcoin. It's like, damn it.
1 step forward, 3 steps back.
Exactly. So.
Yeah, it does seem like a, I don't know, it's a hell of a basket, one rigmarole after another. I've been seeing all kinds of articles pop up about NFTs where I wouldn't expect it. Like, I think I was passing through the living room the other day, and Ellen was on TV, and she was talking to somebody about NFT.
Whoa, what?
And I was like, huh? So I stopped, like, the one time on Earth I'm gonna stop to like watch the Ellen show, and she's like, yeah, so tell me about NFTs. And this guy's like, oh, well, it's basically this, and I would advise that people do this, and it probably won't last very long. And Ellen's like, okay, we'll be back. And I was like, I can't believe what I just saw.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, like, so I've been seeing news articles pop up from like smaller publications and things, and yeah, far-reaching, hectic topic that I've kind of just been tenuously treating as a hot thing. So like I'm not getting too close.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of try to look at it like from like a bird's eye point of view. Like I don't want to, like it's too much speculation, and for me personally to kind of get involved with. But to look at it from like a distance is just like
fascinating. Yeah, it's like wow. No, I agree. A lot of the folks in our community participate and run like NFTs and mint their own projects and everything. So it's cool to get their perspective on it.
Mm-hmm.
Watching the whole thing unfold is probably going to be even more interesting in the months to come, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm already kind of thinking about like the I don't know, like 50 years from now when people have amassed like these art hoards, like are they gonna have like these Viking funerals where like they have like their NFT like Bitcoin wallet around like in their hand and they get sent off in the ship and it burns? Or like
totally,
are we going to have like these archaeological digs where they like dig up the skeleton with like this USB key in their hand that's like their, their wallet? It's like finally we have the original copy, even though we've been seeing it the entire time, but we have the original.
It's priceless.
Exactly.
Just wait till I get back home. My God. Yeah, I mean, you know what? It could totally happen. People have already been burying like USB drives with random stuff on them anyways, come to find out, for like 10, 12, 20 years, however long that's been around. And yeah, so I'm sure that someone has already had that idea and they're like panicking and they're like, oh my God, I don't want to lose this. So I'm going to dig a hole in my backyard and put a flash drive in a fire-safe box and bury it.
One day they'll come the biggest NFT collector of all time and they'll build their pyramid.
Yep. And it will be worth so much money that does not exist anymore.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we'll see how that turns out. I think it's still viable for artists to kind of like run their trades as they do, as they have traditionally. Because there are people who are just as turned off by NFTs as they are encouraged and attracted to NFTs to like buy and stuff in the market. So
yeah,
I would probably say that folks should do as they have done and not make any unwise, impulsive decisions.
Yeah, exactly. No impulsiveness, people.
Oh my God. Let's see, I'm gonna check my list. What have I gone through? I've done that one. Oh, here we go. Do you believe in aliens?
Do I believe in aliens?
Yes.
Yeah, probably. I mean, but if, another question, I guess, that's after that is like, have they visited Earth, Like, probably not.
You could go there if you wanted to.
I think they exist. I feel like life in the, universe probably isn't so unique to our planet.
Yeah.
But it is definitely a rare event,
Mm-hmm. I gotcha.
And yeah, the universe is a weird place. Things are always kind of there's always this huge mystery to it, and I guess also like life itself is another, I don't know, strange kind of thing that the universe does.
Yeah. Do you think it'd be more likely if we found like upright thinking creatures, or just like microbial bacteria?
Yeah. So that's the kind of thing. Like, what would an alien species look like? And the very word itself is alien.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
It means kind of like the other. And so who knows what they'll look like? I wonder if like, if anything, it'd be like I don't know, like an energy source kind of thing.
Yep. Floating consciousness.
Yeah. I don't know. There's like a cyclical nature about the universe too. Like, If you think about things that last a very long time in the universe, like the stars, like can last for billions of years, but it's through the deaths of stars and everything is where all the material in our universe is like kind of built from, like higher orders of like elements, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so it's interesting how these stars and their death create sort of more complicated things than themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so does that kind of continuation keep on happening, where like the smaller things as they die, kind of thing, do they create higher orders of like, I don't know, things that can, you know, sprout out from? So I don't know.
That's cool. Yeah, the nature of the universe.
Yeah.
Not bad, not bad. All right, so yeah, extraterrestrial life is possible, probably.
Yeah, maybe it's F. Tracy.
Maybe it is F. Tracy, yeah. But well, hang on a second. So you said that they probably haven't visited Earth, though.
Well, you know, that's why F. Tracy's so secretive.
Ah, he's the invisible flying saucer that darts around, yeah.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Well, that's awesome, man. I really appreciate you talking to me.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. Thank you.